Bookfighters, it is Thursday, I'm Katie, and we are once again discussing Slaughterhouse-Five. So I don't have a whole lot left to say about Slaughterhouse-Five, at least not at this point, because there hasn't been a whole lot of discussion this month, and I'm having trouble talking about it anyway. So I think for the last video that I'm going to be making for Slaughterhouse-Five, I just want to talk about the theme throughout the book of expectation versus reality. This theme, I think, more than anything else, is what makes this an anti-war book. We have this sort of expectation or perception of what war is like and what it will be and what it's supposed to mean, but it's very different from the actual experience of being in a war, which I think is something that we see again and again and again. Every scene that we have with Billy Pilgrim being in the war, doing something in the war, it looks nothing like what we think of as, culturally think of as what war looks like. And a lot of our expectation of it comes from media, from movies, television, what have you. And I think this is a point that was made most strongly when Billy Pilgrim is captured by the German soldiers, and they make him do a propaganda poster. So but they don't take a picture of what actually happened. They don't picture anything that genuinely took place during the war. They stage the whole thing. They stage a photo shoot in the middle of a war to sort of send this perception on home. So they throw Billy into the bushes and have him crawl out and have the German soldiers up there looking all buff or whatever soldiers are supposed to look like, and this is sent home as being a depiction of what the war is like. They also send back pictures of the shoes that they forced Billy and Weary to wear, which were, what were they, some boots and wooden clogs, I don't know, just ridiculous shoes, to say this is how poorly outfitted the American soldiers are. So we see this construction of the mythology of what war looks like taking place, and we see it from sort of behind the scenes. We see it from Billy's perspective. And what I get from this, what I think we're supposed to get from this, is I feel like we're being told that what we see is not reality. The myths that are being told to us do not align with real life. And this can be applied, I think, in a much smaller sense as well, just for everybody in their sort of day-to-day lives. A lot of people, and I have done this myself, and I'm sure everyone has at some point, do things with the expectation of what they're going to look like when you get to the end. I think college is a really good example of this. It's something that people do because they have the expectation that if they go to college and they get their degree, when they get out, all of a sudden they're going to be a whole new world of jobs open to them, and they'll be able to be hired within their field in no time at all, and the opportunity is out there, they just have to get the credentials. And so everyone goes to school, they put in all of this time and effort, put themselves in mountains of debt, and then now more than ever, or at least more than in recent years, that it's just not the case. People are graduating from college and moving back home with their parents because they can't afford to live on their own still at this point. Or they're graduating and still working at the fast food joint or wherever they were working to get themselves through college. And so we have this sort of mythical carrot at the end of the college experience, and that's supposed to make the college experience worth it. And it's supposed to pull you through when you just don't want to do it anymore. And we could get into who benefits from these mythologies or why this false reality is constructed, but that's not really the point that I want to make in this video, and I don't think it's the point that was made in the book. I think it's just that we need to understand and realize that these things we're being told are myths, and so very rarely does the myth of our expectation align with the reality of our experience. So then what do we do with this knowledge, this realization of the lie of our expectation? Well, I think the conclusion that we're being drawn to, and it's a conclusion that I agree with, is that you have to learn to be present in this moment. You can't sacrifice this moment for another moment in the imagined future, because that's saying that that moment moment is more important than this one. That your life 5 years from now is more important than your life right now, and right now should be sacrificed for this imagined future. And I think that that's flawed. I think that's a way that we all live at some point or another, just bite the bullet and suffer through something to get to the other side. But I don't think it's something that you should do in general. Yeah, every day in your life. I don't think that everything you do should be building up to this imagined reality, this imagined future. You have to learn to love the life that you have right now, and, you know, have goals, have places that you want to be, but make this moment the most important moment to you right now. Because the future will only ever be ahead of us, and the past doesn't exist except in our memories. The only thing that we have is right now, and there will never be a moment that is not now. Alright, so that's all I have to say about Slaughterhouse-Five. I really enjoyed this novel. If you haven't read it yet, you really should. And September 30th through October 6th is Banned Book Week, and Slaughterhouse-Five is one of the most banned books on the list right now, so that would be a perfect time for you to read it if you haven't yet. You know, there's no time like the present. However, starting in October, we will be discussing The Casual Vacancy, the new book by J.K. Rowling. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it before next Thursday, because I just can't really afford to drop $40 freaking on a book right now. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might download it and buy it later just so we can talk about it. I mean, I definitely want to own it, but I just don't know if I can pay that much money for a book at this exact moment. Either way, this has been completely an uninteresting portion of this video, so we'll move right along. Read that book if you can. We'll start discussing it in the first video of October, and that's all I got. So maybe, Julia, I will see you tomorrow. Probably not, though. So Sarah, I'll probably see you on Saturday. If not, I don't know what's going on. I'll see somebody at some time, maybe.